Holy shit. Valve really did it. Overnight yesterday, Valve released a new update for CS2 that is completely shattering the market, deleting almost $3 billion worth in skins. Knife prices are completely plummeting. Investors are watching as their precious inventories get turned into dust just as fast as Spider-Man in Infinity War, and probably just launching a lot of gambling sites into full panic mode. And this wasn't a glitch. So what happened is that on the 23rd of October at 12 a.m., Valve put an update for contract trade-ups. It was just a minor thing, but it just had a massive impact. Now you can trade up to 5 covered skins for a knife or a glove of the same collection. This was a huge turn up. Knives had a drop chance of 0.26% or 1 in 385 case openings. Not really, you're not gonna open 385 cases and get a knife, but you know, that's the math. While covert skins, which are the red tiered skins, had a 0.64% or 1 in 156. But at the same time, you could already trade up your purple and pink skins to get up to a covert level skin, but you could never really do it for a knife skin. So those were just really reliant on luck. And because of this change, the market has reacted violently across all steps, changing the prices for pretty much every single item. Cases are dropping in price. Covert skins, which are the red ones, did see some rise in price for a lot of them. Mostly the completely worthless ones are getting a big market up right now, but that wasn't enough to offset the complete drop in prices for knives. And also this feels like just the 2008 stock crash, and everyone is just going completely insane and going sell everywhere, like the place is burning up, which is honestly insane and, well, at one point justified too. Just to put it into perspective, just last week, the CS2 market cap had passed $6 billion, okay? $6 billion, with insane number. And as of the latest update that I have on Price Empire, it crashed to $3 billion. It's a 50% decrease in the entire market cap, which is absolutely insane. People weren't just buying skins, they were treating it like an investment, and honestly it was paying off for a long time. Even I got lucky by mistake back in 2018. I was still playing CS. I don't play it nowadays anymore. And I remember I bought a Karambit lore for like $200, and after some years, I think in 2022, I ended up selling it for like $1,000, and I bought myself a VR headset from Steam, which was actually an insane trade-up for me. But I just got lucky. I wasn't treating it as an investment. I was analyzing the market and just looking at the prices all the time. But there were a lot of people that were treating this like a job, you know? Their day trading profession was CS market. But even though now the Redskins are seeing a price increase, it's not nearly enough to offset the cliff that the knife prices are just jumping off. This is a huge turn up, and it's also a big warning for those people that keep looking at these digital goods as a possible form of investment, and that the whole thing just can come down with a simple game update, you know? But now for the shady part, we have to talk about the gambling economy for CS skins. There are dozens of videos talking about the shady practices of gambling or sweepstake sites for skins. I highly recommend the CoffeeZilla video on the subject. I'm gonna leave it somewhere around here. Just click it and go watch for yourself. Amazing video, couldn't recommend it more. That tries to just shine some light on the whole subject. Amazing, go watch it for yourself. Up until 2006, the latest figures say there were apparently $5 to $7 billion in the gambling market for CS skins before Valve just struck them down and were hunting gambling sites, these illegal sites. But even still, up until 2025, UK report said there are about 28 million visits per month to these gambling websites for CS, which is insane per month. So if you multiply by 12, you're talking about 300 million visits a month. So there's still a lot of money inside of CS gambling. Maybe not as much right now, but hey, they were definitely hugely impacted by this change. They're probably sounding all the alarms and trying to figure out what the hell they're gonna do now that the prices are plummeting all the way. And even though the market crashed severely and the prices are going down, this also means that the bet sizes shrink because the high value chips, which were the gloves and the knives, they decreased in value, which also means more people are able to participate in the betting since now the entry cost is much cheaper, which could also lead to a higher volume of people trying to gamble in these websites, even though they get a less value per transaction. This market change literally is reshaping the entire economy for gambling in Counter-Strike. So why did Valve do this? So far, we haven't got any statement about this from the devs or even from Lord Gaben be praised, but we can always speculate. And at the end of the day, there isn't really much of a loss for Valve at this. Even though it is a big crash, it's not like they were the ones holding the $6 billion of money. This is an imaginary price created on top of this, right? But they did get 15% of each transaction made by players inside of the Steam market. So that's also one of the parts where the money comes from, and even more from buying keys to open cases for skins. And with this big change, what is going to happen? A lot more transactions, both from players trying to exchange covert skins for knives and for gloves, but also people that are trying to upgrade the purples and pinks into coverts to get the knives and gloves. But at the same time, we also get a much bigger influx of people buying keys because the losing inside of a case row is not as punishing anymore, since if you don't get one of the knives or the gloves, you're still getting one of the skins that you might be able to use to eventually get a knife or a glove. And of course, they will be getting a lot less money in those 15% between the transactions, but most likely with time, the market is gonna recover to a certain point. From what I saw, the market is already stabilizing at the 3 billion mark after the 50% crash, which is still big, but after one day, if it's still already stabilizing, that already shows that the market is probably gonna recover in some time. Take this with a big grain of salt. I'm not a market specialist, not a skin specialist, so I'm not sure. This could also mean there is something else at play. Maybe Valve is planning to introduce another type of cosmetic into the game. We already had the operator skins that we got a couple of years back, but still it was a new type of cosmetic. Maybe we'll be getting some other type of cosmetic, who knows what for, but I'm not Valve, or even a new tier for cosmetics as well. This could also point to Valve taking another type of stance when it comes to cosmetics. Maybe Deadlock is gonna be releasing officially soon, who knows, and they don't have any type of monetization inside of that game, and when it releases it will probably get some type of monetization. So this change could also mean that they're trying to change their perception of cosmetic transactions inside of games. Who knows? At the end of the day, Valve was never really stupid when it comes to making decisions inside of their games, even though this had a big impact in the market right now. Who knows what the future holds for CS and for their IPs? So we just have to wait and see what Valve is going to be doing in the future and what else is going to be happening throughout this whole dilemma of the market crash. Because honestly, they could be doing a lot of things. At the end of the day, this is a game. They can do whatever they want. If they want to introduce a 12 new tiers of skin. They want to introduce anime skins, turn CS into a Fortnite game or whatever, new weapons, new whatever. They can do it. They can do whatever they want. It's their game, And the community surely is divided in this whole spiel. We got a lot of people saying it's completely over, dropping the market, saying they're dumping every skin, that they don't want anything to do with CS market anymore, completely crashing out. Some investors calling it the biggest rug pull in the history of CS, but we also have casual players that are celebrating the fact that they can now get their knife skin or their glove skin, which is also a big up for a lot of players, the casual players. But let this whole chapter with CS be a reminder that this is not a game economy, and if you're putting real money into digital assets, be it skins, NFTs, anything controlled by a central company, you're putting your money at risk or outright just throwing it away. Value is imaginary, scarcity is totally temporary, as we can see with this example right now. All it takes is just one update to turn your $5,000 skin into a $500 skin or even less. So this is not just for CS. This is a preview of what is already happening across the market and across the digital landscape of digital ownership, and what can still happen when you don't really own what you think you own. And we just have to be wary, and hopefully this sets an example for economies and for lawmakers around the world to actually put some restrictions and put some laws when it comes to digital ownership of products. And we'll see what happens. This was a big chapter in the history of digital products in general and gaming history in general. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you like, don't forget to leave a subscribe. Let's talk about this. Comment down below what happened. What's your story with this whole situation? Did you lose money? Did you win money? What do you think about this whole situation? And I hope to catch you in the next one. Press the subscribe button somewhere, and I'll see you in the next one. XR out.